Audio test, 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 audio test. All right, audio test. How loud is it? How quiet is it? Like, do you guys like this volume? Should it be louder, quieter? Audio test. All right, audio test. Louder, quieter. How quiet is it? Like, do you guys like this volume? Should it be louder, quieter? It's good? All right, perfect. All right.
Louder,
Do I want to watch this
quieter.
on stream? Will this like give away my email? Wait, no, email don't.
It's good.
Wait,
All right.
personal
Perfect.
information. Please, same lab. Do
Louder,
I want to watch this
quieter.
on stream? Will this like give away my email? Perfect. Wait, no, email don't. Training.
Good. All right.
So today in this stream, we're gonna go to this Valorant tab and we're gonna go one by one until I don't want to go one by one anymore, reviewing each and every task, assessing how good it is for Valorant, how good it is as a task, and all those fun things.
I don't want to go
Share,
one by one anymore.
copy the link, every task, assessing how good it is for Valorant, how good it is as a task, and all those fun things. Stream's still echoing infinitely because I have the audio test on. Yeah, I fixed the echo. Announcements at everyone. Come to the live stream. Reviewing and critiquing AimLab's built-in tasks for Valorant. AimLab's tasks for Valorant. Live. All right, time to get into it. How do I get 150,000 on grid shot? Don't. Why would you? Don't. All right, so this one, I'm not gonna lie, I actually investigated this last night when I had the idea for the video, but yeah, this is basically a Valorant task where you're given a box to strafe in, a strafing target will appear, another strafing target will, and then a Reyna eyeball, supposedly, will appear. You have to click it twice, and then it appears, and it's either one can appear. It's pretty basic, I feel like. You do have to react a bit, but these guys are slow. This is... I don't know, can you shoot it while it's moving? I don't think you can shoot it while it's moving, so you have plenty of time to react to this thing growing and stuff. And overall, it's a bit of a reflex scenario, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's also just... I wouldn't say it's the best scenario. It could be done a bit more reflexively, but it's also not terrible. Yeah. So, next. Never seen this one before. So let's see, same thing where you got a box to move in. A guy, people will peek you from over there. There's no one CT. All right, these are relatively small, relatively hard to hit, I'd say. A lot of it, they just move horizontally. All right, actually struggling with this one. Yeah, I kind of like this. I think this is the same merit as floating heads, except it's a bit of a micro scenario, right? So like, yeah, it's cool. I feel like you'd get used to it pretty fast as there's really not that many bot patterns. You obviously don't want to track them, you just want to intercept them. It's cool. I honestly, this actually isn't that bad. It's definitely overdone on the map. Like the same thing could be accomplished with 2 dots and none of this whole, maybe a few invincible opaque walls, but you don't need that. You can have it because it looks cool, but It's cool overall. I don't think they used Valorant frictions based on the age of the task, so I'm gonna say that's a bit of a downside, but it's cool. Actually, not as bad as I was expecting. Let's see this one. So you go down the zip line, you just point and click these guys, and then oh, okay, so you're supposed to kill everyone before time runs out. I don't like this just because, well, for one thing, I mean, I don't even think this matters, but for one thing, you can't shoot on the zip line like this in Valorant. I'm not sure if you've ever played, but so it's not even like the in-game situation it's mimicking is a rail one. Um, it's, I mean, I played Valorant before. You're usually inaccurate when you're on the zip line. It's definitely a cool task though, but at the same time, it could also be accomplished more effectively as there's like 5 targets, they don't respawn, 4 targets, they don't respawn. I mean, or no, they spawn in different places every time. And it just feels like it could be accomplished more effectively with like, hmm, it just doesn't feel like there's enough reps per time unit. Bunch of people tied for the same world record. 23 world records. Yeah, I feel like it could be done more effectively. Where, yeah, the maximum amount of targets you can get in a minute is 60. So, like, I feel like it could be done better. But at the same time, it's not terrible. It's just like, it feels almost like a centering, not a centering one, but it feels like a reverse floating heads. Like, you're the floating head and you shoot them. I'm just going down the list of Valorant tasks. It's not great. And just reviewing each one at a time. Oh, this one I enjoy. This is like a, watch this. This is like a pressure aiming. So then just wait. And then a second one spawns in. I'm not going to go for too long because this one can last like 2 minutes if you play it hard. But yeah, basically watch. It'll go. And these three boxes are your lives. So yeah, and then watch this. Like I'll let that bot by. Then you'll watch one of the boxes disappear as that bot passes me. See now one of those boxes is red. And like basically it just gets more and more micro scenario. I actually really like this one. It's good for training your micro adjustments while also forcing a bit of speed. But at a certain level you might want smaller targets, and yeah, if we let 2 more by, we'll finish it. I do actually enjoy this. Shooting the zip line is semi-accurate, not full running gun, and you see it a lot in the Radiant lobbies. Oh, okay. I I guess, but I mean, I feel like it just could be done a lot. Like, you don't need to be on the zip line to train those skills. Like, all of these tasks definitely go overkill on the map. We can just assume that from the beginning. But that one especially, I feel like you don't need to memorize those common angles, like, because you already have that done, presumably. You really just need to focus on getting the actual control to hit a target while you're moving, which I feel like could be done a lot more effectively. This one I actually played the other day also. Basically, you're confined in the square, this tiny square. It's supposed to be on the Icebox Valorant map. Targets will spawn in and shoot at you. You lose 2,500 points for getting hit with one of their bullets. A lot of time there'll just be like times like this where like there's a while where you don't see a target and then it comes out, it strafes, and I miss it a bunch of times. And then yeah, you get minus 500 for misses, those are clicks, and then minus 1,000 for getting hit by the target. It's a good strafing bot. You have to learn to hit this. It just, there's a lot of scenarios that also have this bot pattern, right? Where it's like going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and you gotta just kind of learn to smoothly hit it like that. But it adds the peeking component, but the target's not really fast enough or difficult enough that the peeking component's really a noticeable challenge. And I feel like it's more just wasting your time. There's a lot of downtime on the scenario waiting for a target to spawn. So I personally don't recommend this scenario. I feel like it could be done a lot more effectively, but it's also not terrible. It's nice, but that layout of ice spot, I don't, that would make sense actually. Yeah, I think I noticed that. Or I didn't notice that, but it does make sense. This is the Scream one, basically. They just go back, forth. So I actually really enjoy the scenario. The only thing is, like, it feels less like a counter strafing scenario, more like a smooth bot TS scenario. Like, they'll go, and then they'll watch this pattern. It, like, goes, and then it just goes, and it does a bit of things, and then it does the long strafe. And I feel like the long strafes are too many and too frequent. Too long, too frequent, etc. to for this to be an effective task, because when it's on a long strafe, it's not really hard to hit at all. So you don't really get to train it when it's on the non-long strafe. But overall, it's not terrible. I don't like the fact that they have the bodies that you can just spam. That makes it super easy to just get crotched. Like, these are... It should probably just be no body. I get the intents to make it feel like it's in Valorant, but, I mean, it's not even using Valorant friction. Again, you got the strafe box, but no points for strafing. So, and also it's not even Valorant strafe mechanics. So, I don't know. Let's see. The VCTA one, I've actually played this a few times before, too. This is just floating heads. This is just the floating heads one where it's like they continuously go back and forth just like a standard floating heads. But the weird thing about it is that one of the bots spawns in a counter strafing pattern, and four of them spawn in a relatively normal floating heads pattern. So this bot will always be harder to hit, which one creates score and consistency. I think it's cool because it gives you multiple things to train if you go into it with a plan to recognize that bot. But it could also just be made as two separate tasks, and something tells me that this was an error left in from testing and not an intended feature to give you two things to train. It means that the world record guy probably just learned to ignore that bot if the score actually got pushed. It's overall, it's floating heads. It's cool, but it's nothing crazy. And then there's this little bot that is in like a pure G horizontal clicking Valorant. So actually not that bad. It's a dynamic scenario. It's I honestly thought I'd come in this more negative than I am. This actually isn't as bad as I was expecting. Oh, this one I actually played a decent bit. So this one, basically, they come out, they move the same way the Scream ones did, but they'd kind of peek you, and there's 5 targets at a time. You just gotta wipe them out. And then the issue is that once you wipe them out, you'll be waiting for a little bit, especially if you're better, because they just take a minute to peek you. So, like, yeah, right now, I'm trying to wipe them out. Hold on. Okay, yeah, they're spawning a bit faster than I thought. But still, I'm aiming pretty slowly. If I was, like, warmed up, I'd probably have a half a second where there's just no bot, which isn't that bad, but, like, you could add up to where it could be better. It's a bit of a strafe scenario. That's a bit of a glitch with the jumping. They shoot you, and you lose 200 points per getting shot, gain 3,000 for hitting a shot, and lose 100 for missing a shot. Overall, cool scenario. I like it. It's fun to play, but I definitely wouldn't say it's the peak of aim training, peak of dynamic clicking, anything like that. It could be done a lot better. Now let's interact with chat for a minute. Honestly, a lot of the time you can just look up the Kovacs task nowadays, and an aim lab like copy of it will come up. VCT Latam King. Oh, I think this one's just a 1 while 5 6 targets TE wide. This could be wider, like this is not really a wide wall map. It's just so I guess it's probably intended to feel somewhat horizontal like Valorant. That's probably why. The targets are a bit big, but that's not a big deal. Clusters. Uh it's it's just a standard static clicking. It's cool to work on your flicks and your flick technique and all that fun stuff, but it's not like it's the peak of Valorant aim training, or like a reflex flicking scenario, or it could be a target switching scenario, so you could really focus on stopping power, not have to worry about like clicking, like because with clicking you can just like brush over the target, you don't really have to stop. But with like a target switching you have to stop, and also with clicking you have to focus on being way more accurate than you would be in game. With target switching you just got to focus on getting to the target as fast as possible, which is similar but a bit different. I just prefer target switching for that kind of map, and it's all right for working on flick technique, but it's nothing crazy. Icebox wide flick. Let's see what this is. Um, Okay, so this is when this is meant to mimic that point where you're in this is the spawn of the icebox map. Um, Basically, people will push you if you're not already dead I've played Valorant not a lot, but enough to know that if you're not dead at this point, then that's a you problem. Uh, yeah, I'm whiffing hard. Let's see. Yeah, you get the point. Basically, they push you, they come up to a certain point, they despawn. You gain what appears to be 1,000 points for hitting a target. You lose 500 for a target getting past you, and for missing, you lose 200 points. So, cool scenario. I feel like the maps they could put more time into like actual quality scenarios and less time into just creating weird looking maps or like Valorant looking maps, but I mean it's not terrible. It's just a thing, I guess. Let's look at chat for a minute. Yeah, no, it doesn't need to happen. It can just be like a completely basic like box map that doesn't actually like the scenario itself doesn't have to happen for the training to work. Like you're meant to just be training aim motor skills, but for whatever reason they try to like make it feel like you're actually in the game. So this does not feel like Valorant friction. I don't even feel like I'm barely even stopping when I take my hand off the key. This does not feel like Valorant. It kind of is. It's, mm, I feel like it's not the Valorant frictions. Let's see. It's just what is it? Just a You get a strafe. I don't like the strafe scenarios where they don't have the friction from the game, and this does not feel like Valorant friction. This scenario, the whole point of it is to strafe and peek. It's not even using like the same strafe mechanics you'd use in game, so I personally don't like it. Is this supposed to be on any of the Valorant maps? I honestly can't tell. Oh, I think this is supposed to be split. Yeah, because this is kind of looks like the. I don't know. Is this a Valorant map? I think this is a Valorant map. I don't know. I'm the aim coach. I'm not a game coach. Yeah, but you just strafe, you peek. I don't love this scenario. Because, like, then you waste a lot of time on the strafe, too, because they always make the strafe time, like, a full second. Like, one, one, one. So, like, you're always, like, capping. Like, maybe you can get 70 bots on this on a good run. Like, watch just sticking it until... Or, no, it's a bit more than a minute long. But, like, it's still just could be done way more efficiently. If you want to practice movement, you should at least have the movement mechanics that you'd use in the game you're training for. I'm not even saying you have to do it in game. There's just like AimLab now has Valorant frictions. I just don't think they applied in these old scenarios. Like it could be done better, but and those targets could have been moving. It just there's just I don't see any point in playing that scenario. Valorant. Where were we? VCT Icebox. Nope, not here. Haven Wall Peak. No, behind. No, we definitely weren't this side. Split Wall Peak. Was that what we just played? Haven High Ground is next. Okay. Hi. I'm just playing through. Oh, it's split A. Say okay. Thank you. Okay, so this we have the ability to strafe. We can't fall off the middle. This is Haven B side. Obviously, I think it's even in the name. You got the jet knives, which it amazes me that they've done like the. Oh my god, this is annoying. Okay, I do like high to low ground scenarios. I feel like these are very underrated, so I do give this scenario more credit than it deserves just because there's not a lot of like clicking where you're on a high ground, low ground dynamic clicking like this. So it is pretty cool. But watch this, watch this. You can shoot all the jet knives and then they come back, right? So AimLab doesn't have a little reload bar on the bottom of your screen, like right where the lowest jet knife would be, like right where that Valorant Masters bar. You can put a little reload bar like you can on Kovacs for ammo, but they have fully functioning jet knives, which are the exact same mechanic, but way more graphical work. It just makes no sense to me. why there's not a reload bar yet. That not even in all scenarios, but just in any scenarios, you can't put a reload bar in aim lab. Why is that? I don't know. We should probably assess the actual bot pattern of the scenario too, before I go too much on a tangent. So they strafe, they move in one direction, very slow, very steady, easy to track. This guy, I guess he's a little bit of a counter strafer, but he's not hard to hit. Yeah. They come from three spots, so there's like the crowd control aspect, but then they get close to you and that doesn't actually do anything. You get 2,000 points for hitting them, um, and lose 200 for missing, so it's accuracy wouldn't be really huge in this. You need to miss 10 shots for it to give you the minus points of, which I guess is why it's a reload scenario, but it's also, let's see, does it full reload after each bot? Yup. So, yeah, I honestly don't think this is a ideal Valorant scenario, but at the same time, it's not the worst thing to ever. It's not a scenario. It's like the bots are too easy. The bots are too easy. Was that Haven Wall Peak? No, was it? It was Haven High Ground. Oh, they even acknowledge it's high ground. Yeah. So I do like the high ground aspect of that, but overall it's just too easy to be worth it. This one looks like it's gonna be the same thing. Yeah, they just come up to you very slow. Kinda does the back and forth strafe, but it doesn't throw you off because you can literally edge track this man and stay on him the entire time. Like that means his strafing is not working. Way too slow. They just run up to this wall. Is that the only thing they do? Oh no, they wide peek. You oh, you gain points for movement in this one, but so you do want to always be moving. That's pretty cool. So it does be, and movement accuracy is perfect, which I guess it's the jet knives. That's how it's supposed to be. Um, yeah, it's a fun scenario. Okay, so yeah, these guys you have to track while you're moving. Yeah, it's I do and I am having fun just because the gliding feels cool. It also doesn't feel that much like Valorant. I'm gonna say this isn't the Valorant frictions. Maybe it is, I don't know, but I'm gonna pretty confident it isn't. I also think AimLab could switch those pretty easily, but it's also just way too easy. There's no point in playing this. Look, Tens and Cartoon are less than or a small distance apart percentage-wise, which shouldn't happen in a hard scenario. Cartoon should be way ahead of Tens because Cartoon is way better than Tens. Which honestly isn't an important thing because that's just a leaderboard. I doubt Cartoon grinded that, and I doubt Tens grinded that. Uh, Icebox close fly. That was Bind Defense, so we're on Haven Wall Peak now. Hello. Valorant maps are preset. I know, I'm saying it wasted the dev time, not the actual scenario creator time. When Wes Prodder calls a scenario easy, you know it's yes, Stark. Stark. Uh Slow bots, they are kind of small, so I could see someone who's very new being challenged by this. You have to strafe for an hour. Yeah, this one's way too long of a strafe. You have to go all the way across this entire box. It takes, okay, let's time the strafe. So we start at the 38. 2 full seconds to get from being able to shoot those guys to being able to shoot these guys. What is the no, no. That's a waste of time, and those bots are way too easy. Haven, Wallpeak. Alright, Breeze Operator. Breeze Operator. I think I'm gonna have to enable ADSing for this one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to enable ADS. Hold on. Settings, controls, ADS. Where's the ADS button? Oh, key binding. Approach, fire, zoom ADS is Z. Okay, I'll just do this. Okay, so I have this shot and I have to be able to make it. Is it one tap to the body? Okay, it is. So there's no motivation for headshots that I know of. Wait, hold up. Let's see. Do we get more points for the head? Nope. All right, so it is a body shot scenario. And you literally just gotta wait like an hour for these guys to peek you. They're slow, they're steady, they're smooth. This is okay, one, there's a lot of wasted time. Like a lot of people say the big advantage of an aim trainer is that you get more reps than you do in deathmatch. But look at this, there's no reps. And they peak slow, so it's not hard to react to. They take forever, so it's not really pushing your reactions, because even if you were to react 5% faster, you still wouldn't go fast enough to see another bot. You're the most important thing is that you don't lose points by missing. This is a bad scenario. It's there's it's too easy. They need to make these scenarios harder. Icebox close flick. Let's see what this has. How do you play deathmatch? I don't know. I'm not really. I'm an aim coach, not a deathmatch coach. Deathmatch is for working on movement and stuff. I can't move in games. I move like a bot. All right. So again, just reload. They just come vertical. I guess this could be good if you've like never done anything to move your mouse vertically before. The bots are slow, so they're easy to hit. I'd make them faster, or at least it's they don't need the body because then you can just spam the body like it becomes a tracking scenario. Okay, it takes 4 of the shots, so I guess people it's not even worth it to spam the body for anyone because I mean this is this is it's just they're so slow. There's no point in this. You got a tiny box to move around and like I guess you're supposed to, nope, you don't even get points for strafing. This ain't it. And well that's just it's just like they're trying to make up scenarios that can happen in Valorant versus make up skills that you need to train and focus on them. I get the whole marketing aspect, but this is what people see when they are first confronted with aim training and they're like, oh, well, if aim training isn't exactly like the game, then it doesn't work. And this just fuels a lot of the aim training hatred that doesn't need to be there. This is the same scenario, but on a different map. We've reviewed this exact thing twice, except now it's on a new map. Yeah, it literally even has the third angle that you can see from both spots. This is... Does it spawn above me? No. Okay, let's count. One, so probably 3/4 of a second to a second to get between being able to shoot one guy and the other guy. Not as bad as the Haven one, but still, what is the point of this? Those wall peak scenarios need to go. They have them in aim lab, they have them in Kovacs, they need to go. Those fracture wall peaks, so Ascent Spider Shot is next. Steven, 499. Read the inner game of tennis because of you, and I understand the concept, but have a hard time. I really, I really, I really hate having to give you such a vague answer, but the only way to implement it is really to not try to implement it. You just gotta let go. It's not something you can force out of yourself. It's just you, and it's really hard to do. It's just you gotta learn to relax, learn to not try to control use your conscious mind. Just a good way to kind of get into that state would be to distract yourself, maybe sometimes listen to music, sometimes that'll help. It's just it's hard to do honestly, but it can be learned. It's difficult though. It's a lot of practice too. It's not just like you can understand the concepts and immediately apply those to a game. You got to actually try and you got to do it enough times that you feel the flow state, and it's not something that you can force yourself to get into or consistently get into. Why am I not showing the RA scenarios? Because I'm just showing the stuff AimLab recommends to people for Valorant immediately when they open AimLab and just reviewing them because these are the things that are the forefront of AimLab Valorant and they need to be critiqued. Okay, so this is you shoot a bot. So this is like you have really bad crosshair placement. Even I know this is bad crosshair. You're just looking in the middle of the site. You're not holding an angle someone could peek you from. You're just looking in the middle of the site like you're trying to hit a clip, and then someone peeks you, and then you just shoot them. So you click, you wait, you react to the peek. These bots are too slow. If they peeked faster, like a reflex firework flick, this would actually be a cool scenario. Or if they moved more evasively, like the WPV multi-peek ascent. But for how they move, these bots are too slow. Yeah, I still recommend Cooler TAF. It's a good scenario. It would honestly feel a lot like this, but oh, also, do you get points? Let's watch this. Is it a constant point value per shot hit? It appears to give you 2,000 points for every guy you hit. Okay. Yeah, so I would not recommend this. Yeah, I'm on the bottom of the leaderboard because I spent the whole time investigating the scenario. Let's see. Valorant. Okay, we're on Fracture Operator. Oh, I've played this. Oh, I know this one. So basically what happens is the same as the other one, but a different map. This time they can only come from a few spots, which I think is better because you don't have to spend time searching for the guy. And basically you just gotta try and hit these as fast as humanly possible as to not lose time so that you can get the score and hopefully get the extra bot or two that lets you set a high score. You can't miss because missing will just take off too many points in this scenario for you. And yeah, I'd say overall this is a pretty pointless scenario. It's just so easy, and I'm not good. I'm not good enough. Like these, it's not even that it wouldn't challenge me. It's that it wouldn't challenge someone significantly worse than me, and I'm not good. So that's like there's just no one this scenario was good for. And I missed on the last spot, tanking the score. Yeah, it's literally just how can you react fast enough, guess correctly, all that stuff. That's a very bad scenario. Um, unless you're so new that you struggle hitting that, in which case it's a mid scenario. Where were we? Fracture wall, peak fracture. Okay, 6-shot ultimate. We already know this one. Everyone knows 6-shot. Let's see. It's just standard 1 wall 60s. It's nothing crazy. I mean, it's the same thing as everything else. You can work on your flick technique. You can't work on reactions. It's a bit smaller, so you get a bit more of a micro practice. I'm going obviously very smooth right now just because I'm talking. I can't really focus. You got clusters to farm. You got it's a scenario. It's nothing crazy. It's 1 wall 60s. It's not dynamic, it's not reflex based, it's not target switching, it doesn't really challenge your stopping power too much. It's spider shot precision. Cooler TF, let's see what this is. Not cooler TF, sorry, spider shot, I was reading chat. Okay, so it gets smaller and smaller progressively. And you get more, I think you get more points on this one for shooting it faster, so it's hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure you're getting more points the sooner you hit it. 1300 for that one, 1200 for that one. Yeah, I think the sooner I hit it, the more points I get, which is cool. I'm not sure about that one though. I like the size. Honestly, not the worst scenario ever. I don't mind this one as much. I think they spawn at a fixed radius though, or like a few fixed locations instead of just anywhere in a range. It's always a constant flick dist. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe not. That's actually pretty cool. I kind of like this. It would really depend on if you get more points for hitting the target sooner, whether or not that's a good Valorant scenario. Because one way it encourages speed, and the other way it encourages flicking to a specific pace. We're here. Haven entry Valorant standard. Oh, for sure, you'd probably get. That's the point. Like aim training, you can get more value from playing deathmatch. Then what's the point of aim training? Okay, so you're supposed to. This is an entry one. What's the point of this? Oh wow, that you shoot me with a purple laser that takes off 200 points. Okay, that's somewhat significant apparently. They're all very far. Why can't I hit that guy? What? There's two guys there? So you're supposed to peek them one at a time so that you don't get like lasered by everyone, I guess. Practice good peeking technique or something? I don't know. This is why I always die in Valorant and can't win. And then once, okay, it appears, okay, nope, you just keep going. Okay, so you're on a fixed path. Like, I can't go over here. Oh, yeah, I can. But I can't go over. There's, like, weird invisible walls in the middle of the path. I don't get it. I don't think this is a useful scenario. I just don't. It's not like it doesn't push your aim, it pushes your peeking, your crosshair placement, and, I mean, it's aim lab, not crosshair placement lab. I don't know. It's like teaching you proper peeking technique. It's like, I feel like you could do this better in Valorant. Unless there's Valorant frictions, in which case this is better. Not realistic to Valorant without, no, Pay, you just don't understand. You only can play the Guardian when you play Valorant. That's the meta. You have to only run the Guardian. So yeah, it's a scenario. It's nothing much. It's just like, what's the point? Uh, Ascent wall peak. We've already done enough wall peaks. I'm not reviewing another one. Ascent tracking standard. Okay, cool. This looks new. Seems at a high enough pace as well. Shots don't punish hard at all. Like their shots or your missed shots? Okay, I don't like this whole shading thing. This thing looks like so weird. I do like this bot pattern. Honestly, this isn't bad. It's like teaching you. It's like a tracking scenario for the counter strafing thing. It'll be a very specific skill you're training, like the ability to kind of trace a counter strafing target, not trail, get back onto it, and really just read how it's moving. But overall, honestly, I like this scenario. This is a good one. This actually isn't that bad. It teaches a very specific skill set, but it's pretty useful. And when I say counter strafing, I'm not referring to the actual like definition of it. I just mean like what looks like someone's using the counter strafing technique. Like whether you let go of your keyboard like A and then let go of your keyboard then hold D, or if you do the actual proper like A push down D, whatever, it doesn't matter. It just matters that you look like you're doing the thing to me, if that makes sense. Um Spider shot precision, we already did this, we already did that. Ascent microflex, okay cool, this one I actually like. Uh do you miss so many shots on Valo due to bad gun reset and accuracy things? I don't know. I know there's a lot of shots on Valorant where I'll either hit a shot or miss a shot that I'm confident did the opposite, and it's pretty 50-50 with whether it was supposed to hit and it missed, and if it missed and it actually hit, which I think is really partially just randomness in how the Valorant guns work, which is So I don't really know why I miss shots in Valorant. be honest with you, I feel like it's a combination of skill issue and Valorant related skill issue. Demo viewer is like a must. What is demo viewer? Um, the points taken off plus time to shoot doesn't offset you. You need to take off. Yeah, I see what you're saying by that stack. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense that like that scenario isn't good because it yeah. Which valid custom map? Oh, replays in the match, yeah, that'd be cool. Is Kovacs worth it? I'd say so. I'd say it's easier to aim train when you have two aim trainers to look at. I feel like my shadow settings are the issue here. Settings, graphics, game, smoothness. Alright, I can't change shadows, I don't know how. But like look how it looks when I press T. They turn like to an actual hittable green, so if you could figure out how to do that consistently, this would be a better scenario. Other than that, it's like close micro adjustment scenario. It's not bad. They could be big. They could be smaller because like this is a bit big for people in Valorant. Um, yeah, I'd like them if they were smaller, but overall this actually isn't that bad of a scenario. It's just a micro shot, and then like you got all this complex Valorant map stuff, which is like again just overkill. Like why? I mean, again, like it's not the end of the world. It's just I feel like the devs could be doing other stuff like making AimLab a better game instead of recreating every Valorant map. I enjoy Kovacs more than Valorant, so you're mentally sane. Nice. Um, and server client discrepancies. Yeah. Okay, what is this? What is this? It's like a reflex book. What? Why can't I? Am I not supposed to shoot the blue one, or is it just really fast? And okay. Wait, what? Hold up. Okay, so I don't click on blue, I click on red. But I don't have to aim at it. I get the point marked, even if I don't. Ah, I keep clicking on blue. This is why I team kill in Siege. I can never. I just. If it moves, I shoot it. I did it again. Alright, so yeah, it's just distinguishing the color red from the color blue. Okay, if this scenario forced you to actually aim at the target with this amount of time instead of just react, it'd be cool, but and if the targets were smaller, but like what's the point of that? It's like you can tell the color red and blue apart, which apparently I can't, but like no. Not like come on, trigger control, that's what it's called. What's the no. There's just no point to that. Siege movement, really just practice siege movement. Like, okay, the intention behind that thing is to improve your reactions, but a big part of reactions is moving, actually doing the motion. Like, a reaction is making a motor plan and following through with it. Reducing it to just a binary click or don't click is extremely easy and makes it very much not reactions. So, overall, I'd say, yeah, so reducing the motor plan to just be a binary click or don't click just ruins that scenario. It should be forcing you to flick faster. That's pointless. No, no. One wall, two targets, horizontal. Um, it's it's all right. It's a cool scenario to practice horizontal flick technique, I guess. Not a lot of fast flicking, a lot of technical flicking, but not a lot of fast flicking. What was that? Ascent headshot, yeah. Valorant small flicks. Let's see what this is. I do not have a good aim labs playlist, unfortunately. Oh, this is just the Valorant small flicks and Kovacs. Um, it's a micro scenario. The bots could be smaller, and that goes for the Kovac. Actually, the Kovacs version, I think they're a bit smaller than this and a good size. It's horizontal. It's all right. They could be smaller though. Like, I mean, like at this point, if I just randomly close my eyes, spin my mouse around a couple times, like what are the chances I land on target? Not a lot, but too high. Like there's too much target for empty space. There should be more or smaller targets. Maybe take one or two. The amount of targets makes the flicks small like they're supposed to. But there should be less target or there should be smaller targets. I'd one to practice movement. One, you got to learn what the movement in that game is. So just look up a tutorial on YouTube, like the other guy said. And then two, actually do the practice like it's aim training. It's still a motor skill. You still got to dedicate time to it and all that. So we're back on split A site for one wall, three targets, where they vary in size. Technically they're the same size, but just different distances. But like you get the point. I don't like it. Ah. It's just another static scenario. Like, this is all just static clicking, but, like, made to look fancy, and the bot spawns are predictable because they're always meant to be at crosshair placement levels. It just, I don't like that scenario. It should just be a normal one wall, three targets or something. Because, like, that would be less predictable bot spawns. Like, those are all meant to be in common angles, so there's only, like, a few spots where you can spawn in, and, eh. Haven, headshot, A site, B site, bind, B site. I think these are all just the same one wall two targets, but on different maps, right? Like, let's play this. Is this just one wall two targets, horizontal, but on a different map? No, wait. This is okay. Wait, no, I think I played the wrong scenario. Hold on. I went too far down. Headshot split A site. Headshot. Okay, yeah. These are all just different like crosshair placement semi aim scenario. I mean, it's not really that point. It's pointless to play all these scenarios. It's like just get good at your flick technique and get good at your crosshair placement. You don't need to combine the like they're two different skills that you need to focus on differently, and that's just I don't know. It feels pointless to me. Oh, let's see. RA small flicks. This is the same thing, but there's less of the bots, which obviously makes the flicks a lot wider. I think the bots should be smaller, but there should still be a decent number of them, so that the flicks don't become like somewhat wide angle. Like you still want it to feel like a very small adjustment like that, not too many flicks where you're going like that length in a small flick scenario. So like overall, not a bad scenario, but I feel like it could be touched up better. I see what they were thinking with that. I just think it defeats the purpose of the scenario. Where like they wanted to space them out a bit more, but by spacing them out a bit more, it reduces the clusters, and that really is a cluster farming scenario where you're meant to try and make the very small adjustments from one target to another. Flicking x-axis single target, 4 skill levels. Okay, let's see this. See what you got for us, Ron Rambo Chem. Okay, so each of these is a skill level. Uh, skill level 4 gives 2 points, skill level 3 gives 2 points. So they all give 2 points, so it's not meant as a leaderboard scenario, because you could just farm this guy and beat anyone who plays this guy. I also wouldn't say that different sizes are always different skill levels, because this becomes the challenge of flicking faster, whereas this is more precise. I see what he means by it, like, one's more precise, one's faster, but at the same time, you still need to like increase skill with this, like to hit closer targets. So, I mean, it's 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 interesting. I don't love that scenario. RA six shot easy. This is just the easy RA benchmark for six shot. I feel like it's not a good scenario to pull up for an RA scenario. It's literally just 106 targets TE. Like, what is that? This is just a fat, semi-fast flicking scenario. There's no point in this. I personally would not play it. It's just like you push your flick speed a bit, but don't work on technique. It's just no point in it. You never work on stopping power in those scenarios because you always just continuously flick. I don't like it. Okay, wide wall, three targets, Pokeball, Valorant. Let's see what this is. Uh, okay, let's see this. Can I just continuously move? Okay, the bots need a bit more health. They go out too easily because you just have to hover over them, so it makes it way too easy to farm clusters and like not really focus on stopping power that much. So I don't love this, but I think it might be one of the best scenarios we've seen so far, and the only one that really works on fast flick stopping power. So I do like that. That was what we just played, right? Oh, the one we played was wide. Okay, so we jumped over this one. Let's look back at this one. Reactive wide wall. Oh, okay, so you just click until they're over the edge, I guess. Uh, and you get a point for every oh, you get a point for every bot you kill? Okay. And this thing just isn't dying? What is the point of this? Like, what am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? Is it if I hit it enough times it'll die? Like, why doesn't it die? What? Maybe I have to go to the other ones first? And then come back to it? And it's also binary reaction. It's a constant strafe distance unless it's backed into a corner. And it can only go one of two ways, which I guess... What's the point? You can't even kill these bots. How are you... Are you supposed to hold down, maybe? No, you can't hold down. Are you supposed to, like, double-click it? How... What's the point? I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but... That scenario is just confusing. I see the intent, but I don't like it very much. RA head click, this is just floating heads. We've already reviewed a bunch of these. But yeah, basically you go in, you read the target, you know where it's going. It's floating heads. It's not bad. It's a very good middle step between learning how to actually smoothly move your mouse steadily and learning how to intercept moving targets like counter strafing targets. It's a good middle step to kind of start learning to intercept the targets before you start working on the counter strafing targets. So I don't mind it, but yeah, it's a good Valorant scenario. It's not for not everyone needs to work on it, but it's a good Valorant scenario. Alright, two shot. A lot of the VCT scenarios on aim labs feel like that. I think you have to click the bots while they're moving. Oh, okay, let's try that. I'm too bad for this. Okay, yeah, that actually makes this a lot harder. I keep trailing, hold on. Yep, you're right. Okay, yeah, that's actually pretty cool, I like that. I'm very bad at it, but I like it. Yeah, that's cool. RA 6 wide, RA 2 shot. So yeah, we saw these are just a bunch of RA static scenarios. I'm just gonna brush over all of them. They're all on their benchmarks. Basically, they're just different. They're all just static clicking. Some of them are wider than others. I do like wide ones because they're cool. They get to work on wide angle fast flicks, but overall, just flick, adjust, hit the target. It's technique based flicking. It's not a lot of stopping power or reactivity emphasized. It's cool, but it's nothing crazy. Raw mouse control, clicking one, very small micro scenario, bit of reaction based. This I actually really love this scenario. So what is this doing? One, it forces you to react to each new bot. Two, it forces you to make a very small micro adjustment onto a very small target. And those are both very, but not so small that it's pushing your precision so far that you're learning a different aim style and it doesn't even apply to Valorant. So I'd say this is actually a very good scenario for Valorant. Very much like this one. What's it called? Um, then Valorant Reflex Microflick. Very good scenario. I like this one. Um, this is just pass to, I think. I don't know. Let's find out. Bit slow for a pass to, but not bad for new players. Does it accuracy score? Yep. Oh wait, no, it's not a pass to. They pause in between. Look, they take random stops. That's cool enough. Their static component is short enough that it doesn't really ruin the scenario. I do like this actually. Yeah, this is just a good, like, another middle step between learning counter-strafing enemies where the bots are random and you gotta kind of read them and hit them, but they're not, like, moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it becomes really hard, throws you off. So I do like that scenario. Yeah. Not bad for Valorant. Again, it's a middle step to learning something, but it's a good scenario. Alright, six shot easy. Alright, Valorant small flex. Oh, we're already way past this. How many more scenarios are we? Got three more scenarios. That's cool. All three just appear to be voltaic scenarios, I guess. One wall, two targets, small flick. This is just one wall, two targets, small flicks. Alright, let's see how small they are and judge it. Uh, so yeah, it's just it feels like a 5 sphere without three of the spheres. I'd put them a bit closer together. I'd make like the box like this box, and that way you're doing a bit more of the micros that are actually like Valorant size micros. Like this would be if you're holding one side of an angle, like you're standing heaven on ascent and you're holding the gate and someone peek and you're holding the left side and someone peeks from the or you're holding the right side and someone peeks from the left side, that would be like this length. But if it was in a bit more, it'd be a lot more like you were holding right here, someone peeks out this much past your crosshair, and you got to do that length. I feel like that's more important to train because that's more likely what's going to happen. But it's a scenario. It's not as bad as some of the stuff we've seen. Barry TS, Valorant. Your rank shot up from gold to immortal in less than 2 months. I'm really happy to hear that. Great job. Congratulations. I'm gonna screenshot this. Thank you. I might actually put that on Twitter because I really appreciate when people improve, especially from just listening to my advice. That book is amazing. I'm very proud of you. Yeah, just Vox DS. Standard scenario. It's a small Vox DS. I like it. I do like this. Yeah, so basically this allows you to focus on flicking fast, landing on a moving target. Will you have to move with the bot to kill it? Can you just... You can still treat it like a static flicking scenario, because as you can see, you don't have to move your crosshair for the bot to die. But you do have to get relatively onto the edge. Like if I were to land on the back part of it, you can land on the center and still kill it. So it's not gonna train your ability to like transition a flick to like a tracking, but it will train your ability to flick fast, get off targets fast, actually stop your mouse or at least slow it down significantly. It's a good scenario. Very good for speed flicking, and it's small enough that it'll focus on precision a bit too. So I do like that Valorant scenario. Let's see. And the last one, Valorant small flicks. Based on the fact that that is one wall, two targets, small flicks, this will be slightly bigger 5 sphere. Oh no, it's actually small flicks. Um, yeah, same thing with all the other Valorant small flicks on this one. They get, or not all the other ones, but the Revo second one, they get too far apart at times. They definitely don't need a wide body. Oh wait, nope, you can shoot that all you want, but it's not gonna kill anyone. It's just a good way to Okay, yeah, so you can only go for headshots. That's good to know. Like, this thing has, like, what, 100 health or something? 100 shots worth of health, 10 shots worth of health, so it is a headshot scenario. Um, that's not bad for horizontal flicks technique. Just the overarching theme of these benchmarks is they all, or a lot of them are static, or not benchmarks, sorry. The overarching theme of this scenario list is the dynamic scenarios tend to be too slow, too easy for just about anyone except very new players who are just focusing on the basic smoothness stuff. And even those guys will outgrow this in a week or two. The movement should be updated to have Valorant frictions if it hasn't already, because that's more important for Valorant players. If you actually want to train Valorant movement, you should be using Valorant frictions, especially since AimLab has those available to them in their scenario making. Let's see. The wall peaks, these scenarios are useless. They're a waste of time as you're just literally just spending like 2-3 seconds walking. The operator scenarios tend to just not train much aim because it takes so long for the bots to peak, and you have to like reset your op every shot, so even if they peaked sooner you'd still just be waiting for them. Let's see, there's a few gems in here like the what was it called, the Ven reflex micros that are very good. The RA head click of floating heads, of relatively hard floating heads, a very good scenario. I improved my Valorant a decent bit when I grinded the score from like Ace to Valor. Let's see. Like I felt better in Valorant when I was Valor on the RA head click than when I was Ace on it. Let's see. The Valorant small flicks, a lot of the small flicks have either too far spaced apart or too big, and that's an easy fix. Just make it like the Valorant small flicks where there's a bunch of them, but they're small. And I'm not saying so insanely small. All the headshots tend to just be like one wall, two targets, like horizontal. These are relatively good for working on horizontal flick technique. The scenarios that are like these four scenarios, like they're headshots for different sites, are just very simple, static clicking, predictable. I mean, I guess it's designed to work on crosshair placement and peaking, but I feel like, or just crosshair placement really, and I feel like you could probably do that in like a death match or something more effectively, as effectively, but maybe not. It's hard to say. It's not an aim scenario, but it could help you with your crosshair placement. And not a few other takeaways. There's not enough reflex based stuff. There's not enough target switching, like you flick fast across a wide angle and you're forced to stop on a specific target, like wide wall, three targets, Pokeball type scenarios. There's not enough reflex stuff. The dynamic isn't hard enough. The dynamic should be more back and forth, and it should be faster. It should really throw you off, or at least some of them should be challenging for higher skill levels. Because I mean, you don't want people like who are already good at aiming to come into aim lab, see these things, and be like, "Oh, this is pointless." And the VCT 10s is a very fun scenario. It's actually probably one of my favorite on the whole list. It's a pressure. It takes aspects of pressure aiming and forces you to flick fast, build up, more targets will spawn in over time. Very cool scenario. Forces you to really work hard on fast micros across a close angle, overwhelming. It's very good scenario. I like this scenario. All right, any questions? That is my presentation. Do you have a good scenario for reactions? Not an aim lab. Well, in aim lab, there's the microflex, but that one's too big. In Kovex, there's like the WPV reflex flick 75 things that me and Stark worked on and stuff like that. Let's see. Those are pretty cool. Um, do I think I should be able to edit the target size? I'm clicking on these and I'm not seeing an edit button, but when I click on these, is there an edit button ever? Hold on, tasks. I know the RevoSect ones you're supposed to be able to edit, so let's find something RA. 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 I don't see an edit button anywhere. I don't know how to edit aimlab tasks. If we go to... I might be able to, but I probably won't, at least for a little while, especially when you could make probably slightly better scenarios from scratch. A lot of the VCT or Valorant sends on aimlab feel like that. Yeah. I listened to your advice and I read the inner game of tennis and my rank shot up. Oh yeah, I already read that, but thank you a ton. I really appreciate that comment. Do you know any good scenario for reaction? Yeah, I already read that one, sorry. It's weird how a few good aim lab scenario, how few good, I wouldn't say there's few good aim lab scenarios, I'd just say that the aim lab really pushes forward their bad scenarios. Like you can find, watch this, watch this, watch this. I think this is true. Nope, I thought I could find it. I feel like this is somewhere on aim lab. This task is somewhere on aim lab. It's just buried. Let's see what this is. Maybe this is it. Nope, this is definitely not it. Yeah, I feel like I've seen that task on AimLab before. It's just they have a lot of good things that are just buried, impossible to find in front of the final mouse roof shot, which is like, what even is this? Look, it's a massive targets just fall off a roof. Is this like a scene in an anime or something? I don't know. It's just I don't. What is this? The playlists. If you're talking about my like WPV Valorant project, I stand by the fact that they're probably some of the best, arguably the best, but I also don't think they're good. I don't think anyone's made. I think there's a lot of work to be done on Valorant playlists that hasn't been done by really anyone yet. I feel like there's a lot of very good specific playlists that if you were to combine, you could beat my WPV project, but I think that as a standalone project, they're probably better just because of all the different skills they encompass, but also there's a lot of flaws in them. Like I don't think the dynamic clicking section was done perfectly. I think that the whole flicking section as a whole could have been done more effectively. Like I don't think the precision tasks that got really small, like a couple pixels big, those were overkill. They should be bigger because at a certain point you just pick up a different aim style and don't aim how you aim in Valorant, and it just doesn't help you in Valorant. That's my overall take on those. I feel just could have been done better. But anyway, we've gotten through everything that I wanted to get through. We reacted to all the scenarios I wanted to react to. Season 2 of WPV, maybe someday. I feel like I'd more just maybe someday. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, oh hey Nash. Um, I'm gonna end the stream now. I'll see you guys. Oh wait, hold up. Repeat question. Oh, we got a bunch of questions that I missed. Uh, what do you think about just spamming just one scenario? I think that is probably, if it's a scenario that focuses on a specific issue that you're trying to work on, then I think that's fine. Um, do you have Kovacs playlists with a little bit of everything that I could get? Not real. No, I unfortunately don't. It's hard to make a general routine because there's so many different things that come into aim. It's really hard to say what is everything, and then there's a lot of things that like newer players might want to work on, or some specific people would want to work on, or need to work on. That would be a waste of time for better players. So it's really hard to make like a general aim lab playlist or general Kovacs playlist. It's hard to do. Do I have any do I know of any good aim lab playlists? Mini's made a couple good micro adjustment playlists, like the TAC FPS micros and his where's this other one? It's in my playlist collection. I just can't find it right now. Uh, there's Mini's speed micros and I can't find them. All playlist results. Uh, look for another Mini often use. My collection playlist. It's in my collection. I can't find it though for some reason. There's another Mini God Speed Micros I can't find right now that's also very good that I like a lot. Um, yeah, for some reason not all of my playlists are showing up, but yeah, Mini's got a couple cool micro playlists. Excited about our coaching session? Yes, I will release I'll probably release a bunch of hours for this weekend. Um, playlist probably in custom. It probably is, but I'm not gonna try and dig it up because AimLab is impossible. Um, would you have any ideas on how to fix seeing the game? How to fix seeing the game when not playing? What's the... Oh! Huh? Like, what do you... Like, you can't close your tab? Like, is your aim lab stuck open? I don't know what that means. Is that like an inner game of tennis thing where, like, you're talking about, like... Mm, I haven't read the inner game of tennis in, like, 5 months, so if it's a specific quote from that book, it might be... might be going over my head. I still remember the general concepts, but not all the specific quotes. I'm not seeing any response to that. I'll give him another 10 seconds and stream delay's bad, and if I don't see it, I'm gonna end the stream. You can DM me on Discord though. Yeah, just I don't know what you mean by that question. Oh wait, okay. I mean like it's easier to see and understand what's happening and well, yeah. When you have I mean I can't I'm not really much of an IGL. I'm a Kovacs player. But when I just presume when you have wall hacks and the third party perspective can see what everyone's doing, it's bound to be easier to know what's happening than when you're just playing. It makes a lot of sense. And also when you have like a caster commentating over it, like it's just easier to do that. You just I don't know, talk to someone who actually knows how to play games.